Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Stuart A. Swerdlow.
And Janet Diane Moria Swerdlow.
And this is the Expansions News Podcast for the second week, or the beginning of the second week of December 2019. Or if it makes it easier, it starts with Pearl Harbor Day. And so we're in a different location, as you may or may not notice. And that is because our house has been invaded by illegal aliens and we have to stay in this room.
I thought it had to do with your journey to outer space this not too long ago.
Well, those are the...
Doesn't it stand for Space Commander Stewart?
Yes, but that was in code, and now you told them the code.
Sorry.
But anyway, we have some news, of course, and maybe, well, I don't know when we'll ever get back to the other studio, because that depends when things are resolved down there. So, okay. Well, House Speaker Fancy Nancy Pants Pelosi announced Thursday of last week that the Democrats will proceed with the articles of impeachment. They should really actually make articles of peach pie instead of impeachment.
Good.
That would be much better.
I could make it a good peach pie.
Against President Trump, declaring that the president's conduct, quote, leaves us no choice but to act.
You know, he made a comment about the lights made him look orange.
Oh, you know, his former housekeepers said that he keeps orange makeup on. And then when he's finished with something, he just throws it on the floor and they have to pick
Well, that's
up
what you do, and I have to pick it up.
Yeah, so I don't see anything wrong with that.
I didn't think you would.
No.
Anyway, back to the peach pie.
Yes, and so Pelosi claimed that the facts are now uncontested that Trump abused his power for his own personal political benefit at the expense of our national security by allegedly using aid as leverage to seek an investigation of the Bidens from Ukraine. Of course, she forgot to mention about how she and her son also use their political power to make tens of millions of dollars per year. That she kind of left out.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've reported on it, though, so there's no escaping it.
She goes on to say, today I am asking for our chairman, to proceed with articles of impeachment, she said, and she referred to House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler, the Democrat from New York. He's like this big. Mm-hmm. He looks like a troll.
We could set him on our table.
Yeah. Someone should put him in a box and seal it.
Yeah.
The president's actions have seriously violated our Constitution. Oh, but Obama and Hillary didn't.
And hers didn't.
Right, and hers not either. Claiming America's democracy is at stake, the president leaves us no choice but to act because he is trying to corrupt, once again, the election for his own benefit. Translation, he's trying to get us out of office because we are abusing and didn't want anyone to know, and now he's exposing us, so we have to do something about that. The White House swiftly hit back with Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham, tweeting, the Democrats should be ashamed. Yes, they should be, and afraid. Trump has done nothing but lead our country, resulting in a booming economy, more jobs, and a stronger military, to name just a few of his major accomplishments, and we look forward to a fair trial in the Senate, because she knows the Senate will overturn it and say, screw you, Democrats. And the president said, this will mean that the beyond important and seldom used act of impeachment will be used routinely to attack future presidents, and that is not what our founders had in mind. So she and the Democrats are destroying the U.S., not President Trump. They're all multi-millionaires. How? Now, she lives in a multi-million-dollar house. Where did she get the money in her office? She doesn't make that kind of money.
Maybe she does.
Well, no, she doesn't.
Her son does from what we saw, from all that oil stuff.
Well, from her shady deals that she's been through.
Right. And
where did her wealth come from? And why is her district in California full of homeless, starving people?
Because she lives in a big house.
Yeah, is she
and
helping them?
She's not sharing.
She's not helping them. No, she's a piece of you-know-what. Now, this is my favorite story about the so-called Prime Minister of Canada. After being accused of being two-faced by President Trump, he has two faces, a Cuban one and a Canadian one.
They both start with a C.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau has come up with an excuse for the comments he made about President Trump that were caught on a camera at the meeting. He says, "Last night I made a reference to the fact that there was an unscheduled press conference," Trudeau said. "It was certainly notable, and I've had a number of good conversations with the president over the course of this day and yesterday." So just, blow over it and don't pay any attention. However, Trump participated in several press conferences yesterday, not only with NATO General Secretary Jens Stoltenberg, but also with Boris Johnson, Trudeau, and a memorably tense news conference with Macron. Did you see that? He said, "Why don't you just invite ISIS fighters into France?" And he's such an idiot, that Macron. I call him Micron.
Well, I think of like macaroons, the cookie.
No, he's a Micron.
Macaroons.
He's a tiny Micron.
Macaroons.
So un-Trudeau is doomed, and so is Canada, for anti-Israel UN vote that they did last week. Shame on Canada. Shame on all of you Canadians for keeping him in office. Really, you should be ashamed of yourselves. Macron/Micron is also doomed in France, where the workers have rioted against him, shutting down the country, and are protesting against him and his mommy wife. Back to U.S. This is another one of my favorite stories.
Got a lot of favorite stories.
I do. Today is.
I have good favorite stories too. It's like favorite story.
It's like
day.
Christmas stories.
Yeah, it's really good.
Representative Devin Nunes, who's a Republican from California, sued CNN, the Communist National Network, for defamation, accusing the cable network of publishing a demonstrably false hit piece about him amid his high-profile opposition to the Trump impeachment inquiry. The 47-page lawsuit filed in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Virginia accuses the liberal network of publishing numerous egregiously false and defamatory statements about Nunes on November 22nd, 2019, when journalist Vicky Ward reported claims that Nunes met with Ukrainian prosecutor Viktor Shokin in Vienna in 2018 to dig up dirt on Hunter and Joe Biden. Nunes did not go to Vienna or anywhere else in Austria in 2018 and has never met Shokin. And this is a quote: "CNN is the mother of fake news." I would change the word fake and use a U and a C in there instead. And I can't do that, but I want to.
It's a family-friendly channel.
It is the least trusted name. CNN is eroding the fabric of America, proselytizing, sowing distrust and disharmony. It must be held accountable, according to the lawsuit. And let's remember, CNN, you have committed treason. And I've said, what is the penalty for treason? Starts with an E.
So that CNN has to come off the air then.
Yeah. It has to come off with their heads. Now, it is obvious to everyone, including disgraceful CNN, that the one they listened to, named Parnas, was a fraudster and a hustler. It was obvious that his lies were part of a thinly veiled attempt to obstruct justice and to trick either the United States Attorney or House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff into offering immunity in return for information about Nunes. The suit mocks Cuomo, the other anchor, who used to be, I thought, decent, but he's not, having recently threatened to assault a man who referred to him as Fredo. I never knew that was a bad word.
Is that a bad day? That's a bad word?
My favorite, a person that I do like is Alfredo.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite people, so I don't know why he's upset. Who Nunes also helped disseminate the false and defamatory statements at issue in this case as part of a scheme to boost CNN's ratings and further the House Democrats' impeachment inquiry. CNN knew that no other news outlet would touch the salacious story because none of the facts could be proven. The breadth, I can't say this English word because there's too many things. Of CNN's publication is staggering, the suit says. CNN acted with actual malice and reckless disregard for the truth. They do that every day that they're on the air. Nunez is seeking damages for insult, pain, embarrassment, humiliation, mental suffering. That's all the things I
was thinking the same thing here.
Injury to his reputation, special damages, costs, and other out-of-pocket expenses totaling $500 million.
Maybe we could get in on that lawsuit.
Yes, I have all those symptoms.
Me too.
I hope that he wins and CNN has to close its wretched doors and cameras. Well, back to another Nancy Pants story. Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich says the Democrats' case, well, he says Democrats, case to impeach President Trump falls so far below what the founding fathers would have considered impeachable, it's almost a joke. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats' tunnel vision focus on impeaching President Trump puts all of us as Americans at risk. Since the day Trump was elected president, the Democrats have been formulating and executing the plot that we've been watching unfold. After Trump won a massive electoral majority, Democrats started digging. They have been determined to find something, anything, they can use to attack him. And they actually did that within 17 minutes of his inauguration. As this plot against Trump has continued, the American system has been bypassed, ignored, or misused to the point where it has been put in jeopardy. Groups of these intelligence officials are breaking the law by leaking secrets to the media, whose members gladly overlook these crimes so long as it lets them accuse the president of something new. Again, that is treason. Make no mistake, this is not politics as usual. It's a concerted effort by one political party, guess who, which one, the Washington bureaucracy and the media to overrule the American people. And I predict it will end badly for all of them when the FISA D-Class is released maybe this week.
Wow.
Now, back to one of my favorite things, weather and so on. So, of course, you know, there's a lot of rumors about the U.S. government. I should say, when I say U.S. government now, I'm talking about prior to the present one, engaged in decades-long geoengineering for the ultimate tool of controlling the weather. And it could be chemtrails, weather manipulation like HARP, covert government operations, and efforts like these can have effect on the weather. And one of the areas affected is Africa's coastal region, which is a hotbed for geoengineering efforts, despite being referred to in the mainstream media as just the result of dust in the air. You remember that when Houston, the city of Houston had, you know, cloud cover and all that, they said, oh, it's dust from Africa. Even though there's no physical way dust from Africa would travel westward across the Atlantic, across the Gulf of Mexico, and just hang over Houston.
They've said that a couple of times.
I mean, seriously. They must come up with different stories.
Well,
but people are so, well, they go, oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, but right now, much of the Gulf of Mexico and parts of the Caribbean have slightly warmer than normal ocean temperatures, which would normally aid in tropical development. But there's so much dust and dry air in the atmosphere that storms are getting choked off before they can even get started. Some have theorized that geoengineering technology can and is already being used to manipulate larger storm systems such as hurricanes. And that leads me to my January class, where I will describe the use of electromagnetic beams to heat certain sections of the ocean to drive and intensify storms. And I will discuss this. But, contrary to all of that, guess where there was a big heavy snowfall?
Australia.
Yes, but there was also in the Sahara Desert for the first time since 1979. How do you explain that, little Greta?
Well, but Australia also had some.
Yes, I know, but there's no record of any major snow having hit the area before that.
No.
No, so that's global warming. Yeah. You heat up the earth and then it snows in the desert. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Isn't Australia kind of like a desert?
Yeah, and so the people kind of like
they had snowfall, and this is their summer.
And it's summer in Australia, and they had snow.
Yes.
Explain that, Greta.
Please. A lot of snow. It wasn't just a little snow.
Is it Greta? this is Greta, I have autism.
Stop. That's not nice.
Because she doesn't. She's just mentally ill.
No, she's programmed.
And
you can see that in her face. Plus, remember I
I
talked...
thought it was so funny because the news, when she got off the train in Madrid, they said she had a death stare.
Yeah. They call it the Trump death stare.
Yeah, no, she had that before Trump.
I know, and the other thing is, remember I also reported that Nazi Germany had a little girl that looked just like that, that they used for propaganda.
That one had a brain in her head.
We don't know that, but it looked exactly like this one, so
Greta,
pay attention.
I'm telling you, you're going to hear very bad things about Greta in the future. Once they're done with her, guess what they're going to do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Goodbye, Greta.
I agree with you.
She will regret her actions, and so will her horrible parents. Anyway, off the coast of your homeland, Washington State, guess what there is?
Volcano.
Well, columns of bubbles rising from the seafloor, and they refer to it as evidence of the sleeping dragon lying below, kind of like you, with your bubbles floating off of you all the time. The locations where they emerge provide important clues to what will happen during a major offshore earthquake. The first large-scale analysis of these gas emissions, hopefully they weren't testing me, along Washington's coast finds that there are 1,700 bubble plumes.
That's a lot.
Yes, primarily clustered in a north-south band about 30 miles or 50 kilometers from the coast. Scientists found the first methane vents on the Washington margin, it's called, in 2009, and thought at the time they were just lucky to find them. But since then, the number has grown exponentially. Gas and fluid rise through these faults generated by the motion of geological plates that produce major offshore earthquakes in the Pacific Northwest. And the more than 1,778 methane bubble plumes are grouped into 491 clusters. That means the Earth is getting too ready to belch.
Sounds like it.
Yes.
That dragon is going to cut loose.
Good. Bye-bye, Seattle. Bye. Bye-bye. Anyway, another one in your homeland, close to Seattle, Mount Rainier National Park, had a 3.6 magnitude earthquake this past week. And since Thanksgiving Day, more than a dozen other smaller earthquakes have shaken Mount Rainier.
Think it's going to blow?
Well, regardless, people living near Mount Rainier should prepare for what might happen in the event of an eruption. And the research seismologist at the Cascade Volcano Observatory said an eruption would cause lahars. You know what a lahar is?
I do.
Large volcanic mud flows to rip down the side of the mountain. That's not good for Seattle. Because you know what? Seattle is built on the remains of the last lahar.
And you cannot outrun a lahar.
300 miles per hour. You ain't going no place. Well, you're going to go under them.
Or if you could fly. You could get above it.
Yeah. Everybody jump real high when the lahar comes. And then you'll,
fly.
Except it's like 4,000 degrees, so you'll burn up. So you'd be like barbecuing.
Really fast.
You know, jokes aside, guess what? There's something in our area. Because Mount Rainier and the New Madrid fault line are both shaking, and a catastrophic seismic event at either location would cause death and destruction on an unimaginable scale. Mount Rainier has been called one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world, and they tell us it's just a matter of time before a major eruption occurs. Mount Rainier has the potential to bury hundreds of square miles with a colossal tsunami of superheated mud that is literally several hundred feet deep. And since Mount Rainier is very close to major population centers, we're talking about the potential for the worst disaster that has been seen in modern American history. But again, here, massive earthquakes along the New Madrid fault zone actually has the potential to be far worse. A very deep scar under the ground that was created when North America was originally formed and made that part of the country very mechanically weak, and big enough earthquakes along that fault could literally rip the United States in half.
Wow.
Which half you want to be on?
The good half.
That's the side I am on. The New Madrid fault zone is approximately 6 times bigger than the San Andreas fault zone in California.
I didn't know that.
Well, I knew that. It covers portions of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Mississippi. And the largest earthquake in the lower 48 states have happened in this region. In 1811 and 1812, 4 absolutely massive earthquakes along the New Madrid Fault Zone opened up very deep fissures in the ground, caused the Mississippi River to run backwards, and was felt as far away as Washington, D.C. and Boston. So everyone in the United States needs to prepare
My turn?
for volcanoes, earthquakes, blizzards coming next week.
All kinds of things.
All kinds of
Well, it's kind of interesting.
Something for everyone.
It's kind of interesting you were talking about that
Yes.
because I have a theory, which I will tell you after
You have a
this.
theory?
I do, but after these first couple of stories first, because it's
All right.
kind of related, I think. But you'll see if you can guess. I doubt it.
Because I'm so stupid?
No, because you can't follow the way my mind works.
No, nobody can.
That's right.
Even psychiatrists.
That's right. I'm a unique person.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, I don't know if you remember, but I have mentioned before that Saudi Arabia is planning to create a 400 billion pound Western-type city with relaxed laws for women and workers, where fans can drink alcohol near the Red Sea. I've
Sign
mentioned that
me up.
before. It's called Neom, which I think you told me
I
before
talked about a few months ago.
what that means, but I don't remember now. So anyway, they're planning on this being governed by a city. They're calling it a new cross-border city-state governed by Western rather than by Islamic law.
Finally.
Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay,
it's in my head right
that's the
now.
first thing. Second thing, remember last week I told you that this Senegalese artist is building a new city in Senegal, right?
Right.
Okay,
But
now,
nobody wants to go there.
well, they will when he's done. And now in Rwanda,
Is that near the kingdom of Wakanda?
I think so. Rwanda is going to have, it says, Africa's first futuristic green city worth $5 billion, which is going to break ground. They're going to, it's on 620 hectares in Kinyinya, Gasado district in Kigali City.
Mm-hmm.
It says they will have environmentally clean mini factories, all electric vehicles, environmentally sustainable affordable housing, integrated craft production centers, an estimated 30,000 housing units to house around 150,000 people. Now listen to this. Guess where they're getting their funding? From the German Development Corporation, from Germany. So they're undertaking the feasibility study for this project, and they said that Rwanda is already green, but they're going to make it even more green. So now we've got 3 major cities, and
So-
guess what?
Is there a fish named Rwanda?
There might be. This is now the 4th new city they're building. This is by one of your favorite people, most favorite people in the world,
Me?
Kim Jong-un in North Korea.
I like Kim Jong-un.
He's unveiling the epitome of modern civilization and celebrating the completion of modern mountainous city described as a socialist utopia.
Oh, I love that.
It's the city of Samjiyon near Mount Piktu.
Are they going to have little creatures that pink and yellow?
This settlement can accommodate 4,000 families. And apparently Kim Jong-un has been trying to get a self-reliant economy for some time. So this community will have new apartments, hotels, a ski resort, and commercial, cultural, and medical facilities.
But of course no Koreans can live there.
A correspondent at the North Korean news described the town as a model. He said it appears now, it has nice clean facades and unique ornately designed buildings that would not resemble any other town in North Korea. And it says that the opening of the town is set to be the second part of a 3-stage scheme to improve the entire county where it's located. And the third stage is expected to be completed October of 2020. So we have 4...
So very close by, yeah.
Yes. We have, well, about a year. So we have 4 big cities just that we know of.
Wow, so much to choose from.
My feeling is that when all these things happen and everything's destroyed, they're going to need a place for the survivors. So they're going to have all these cities that are built or in the process of being built, and they'll have a place to
Yes,
relocate
but
people.
not for people in Washington State or
Sure.
in, no.
They're going to go somewhere.
So if you lived in Seattle, you say, oh, I think I'll move to North Korea.
You're not going to
Be
have
safe.
a choice. You're going to say, okay, because half the country's gone, it's broken in half, we've got this disaster, that disaster, so let's give you a nice new apartment here over in North Korea.
Would you do that?
Well, if you had no place else to go, you know,
I'd stay here in the broken country.
People don't have families, so I think they're building these cities for the upcoming global disasters. That's what I think.
Well, China has built many, many cities for billions of people that are empty.
So that's what I'm telling you. So there's going to be a place for these people. Look at Detroit. Detroit here, right in Michigan,
I don't
is
want to
empty.
look at Detroit.
Well, it's close. If you, okay, so you want to go to Detroit,
It's not empty. There's
or do you
millions of
want to
people
move
living
with
there.
me to one of these countries?
Can't think about that.
Yeah,
I'll get back to you.
Neom. I think Neom would be good right there. In the
I would
middle.
like Neom.
There
It's
you
right
go.
by the water.
So we could do that. So see,
And
this.
you go live in North Korea with Kim Jong-un.
No, you said we
He's
could
your
be.
cousin anyway.
You said we could be together. So now the next thing is outer space. Elon Musk. Apparently, he
I call him Muskrat.
has a plan to colonize with low orbit satellites, 40,000 of them around the Earth. And this is upsetting French rival Arianespace CEO Stéphane Israel.
Wait a second. He wants to put people in satellites around the Earth?
No, just 40,000 satellites.
Why? Isn't that going to clutter up the sky or something?
That's what this guy says. The French guy says this.
Well, the French says something right?
And apparently, he says this is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, I'd say
Because
so.
he said, first of all, that not only is Elon Musk monopolizing everything, but he's building them, he's launching them, he's monitoring them, and there's no room for anybody else because you can only put so many out there.
Yeah, but he's
upset.
also a front. They already have colonies, all these places. I'll talk about that in January. He's just a front.
But they're bringing this out to people now. So it says that not only that, but like you said, that area can only accommodate so many satellites, and Elon Musk will own all of them. And on top of that, scientists are upset because they're saying now this will block the night skies and we won't be able to study the stars.
These do all the pretty lights floating around.
Well, that's what they're saying, but they're going to be not real.
Then he's not going to do it. Forget it.
He's already doing it, so.
He's not going to put 40,000.
42,000.
That's not going to happen.
42,000.
I'm telling you, that will not. Even
42,000.
all the countries on Earth for the last 60 years
42,000.
haven't put that up there yet. So he's not going to do it.
That's what they said. And speaking of virtual reality, you may want to be a Russian dairy cow.
I am. I'm a bull.
Oh, that's right. No, I thought you were going to be a...
Well, I'm a gender neutral bull, cow, whatever.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, apparently in Russia, on a farm near Moscow, a group of, let me see where we are, of farmers, developers, vets, and consultants developed virtual reality headsets for dairy cows.
Because
They want to improve how they feel, so they put this thing on their face, all this herd, and it's a simulation of a summer field.
In this case, let me say something. The Russians don't even care how other Russians feel, let alone how the cows feel.
Well, they want to improve milk production. So I thought it was very silly. And then they said other farmers in Moscow have used classical music to relax their animals. And I'm thinking, why don't they then play music like of the birds
I have a
and the
better
wind?
idea.
And
How about just giving a little vodka in their little feeds?
Well, it's Russia. It's true. They could do that.
Yeah.
And also in Europe, I didn't know this. Now, I know of Sephora, the beauty place, because I know people who work there. Let's put it that way. So I didn't know they started in Europe.
Sephora.
So now I know that. But now this will be also another thing that will just blow you away, because now they have color-coded baskets. So customers with social anxiety can browse without being approached by staff. And they're from, guess what? They're from France. Here's France again.
Right.
So if you're open to assistance with shopping, you choose a red basket.
Uh-huh.
And if you want to shop without interruption, you get a black basket. And people just think this is wonderful. All over the internet.
What if you just dressed in those colors?
That might work.
Instead of a basket.
Okay, so here's the next one for you, because I really think that if something doesn't work out with their books and stuff, like we've been doing this for, 40 some years, I think you should become an artist, because Maurizio Catalan, who's had an exhibit in Miami, he taped to the wall a banana with a singular piece of duct tape and it sold for $120,000.
Okay, two things. First of all, he's a scam artist for doing that. Scam artist. And second of all, the guy that's paid $120,000 is a moron.
Well, what do you think of the second piece he sold for $150,000?
What was that? Like a
no,
piece
the same
of...
thing. It's the same thing.
You know what? I take my banana to a wall sometimes and I've got nothing.
I can't comment on why.
I'm just telling you.
If I commented on why, I mean, I just can't.
So I don't believe that story.
It is a true story. It's Peritin, the Parisian art gallery, who's sponsoring him in Miami. And apparently they've actually sold 3 of them. And apparently, now the piece, they've titled it The Comedian.
Yeah, right. It's funny that who bought it is a joke.
He said that he's extremely specific when choosing the right fruit for his pieces, and he carefully considers the place where the banana would be placed in relation to the wall.
So do they have to move the whole wall?
So listen to this. It took him a year to come up
take the banana.
To come up with the concept.
Seriously.
Yes. So, and he's not worried about anyone stealing his pieces because they hold no value without his certificate of authenticity. And so he said, whenever I was traveling, wherever I was traveling, I had this banana on the wall. I couldn't figure out how to finish it. In the end, one day I woke up and said, the banana is supposed to be a banana.
No, he is a banana.
So he may have a banana.
In fact, the banana has more brains than him.
So anyway, I think it's a way that they move money from one person to another. It's just so ridiculous.
This is just ridiculous.
And speaking of ridiculous, did you know that Kim Kardashian and Kanye West have a really good friend called Food God? Food God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you did know that? Yeah, now you do. So anyway, Food God says that Kanye will end up in the White House and he wants to be the social secretary in their administration. He's a food blogger. He's 45 years old. His real name is Jonathan Chaban, but he started apparently something called Food God Brand. So this helped him to decide to officially change his name to Food God.
Mm-hmm.
And
but didn't Kanye change his name to Yi?
Yi.
And he's
and then they changed it to something else again, but I can't remember.
He's like son of God or something.
I reported about that, but I can't remember that. But after Yi, now there's something else, so I'm not sure what that is. But this guy says, now he's described changing his name as being reborn, and so I thought, well, that works good for Kanye and Kim's new religion. And speaking of religion, now this is a story, I know you will love this. This is about a play called For the Love of a Glove. Do you know what that is?
Someone who has sex with a glove.
An unauthorized musical fable about the life of Michael Jackson as told by his glove.
The glove speaks.
Yeah. It says that a young Michael Jackson receives his pop star power and musical talent from a group of aliens. You like aliens?
I love them.
From a group of aliens shaped like bedazzled gloves.
Not bananas.
No. So in the play, the glove aliens crash into Michael Jackson's hometown of Gary, Indiana, and they offer Jackson great success and fame, but at a dark price, which is the blood of virgin boys. So
is there such a thing?
I don't know. One glove attaches itself to young Michael Jackson, who realizes he can't feed all the aliens himself, so he starts to bring other young boys home.
Ah, so it was all an alien plot.
Yeah. So you'll be happy to know that this play opens in New York at the Carl Sagan Andrean Theater at the Center for Inquiry on, guess what, my birthday, January 25th, 2020. So that's a pretty exciting story, huh?
Yes.
Pretty excited about that alien stuff, right?
I'm more excited about the glove.
Oh, we're going to be excited about this next one.
I'd like to tape it to a wall.
And pretend it's your banana?
With my banana.
Well, speaking of which, the next story is, again, you know, all this Prince Andrew stuff that's going on. Which is kind of hilarious because all these people do it, but for some reason they've chosen Prince Andrew.
The Queen is not
throw
amused.
him under the bus. So now this one here, there's a big story about this, and apparently there was actually a television show on this about an elite sex club, which is reportedly loved by Gwyneth Paltrow and Bill Maher, that throws top secret masked orgy for ultra VIP celebrities and members of the 1%. So this weekend, I guess it's probably ongoing right now, but it says this weekend, it says a host of famous faces turned out at a mansion in Miami for an ultra VIP event that Los Angeles-based club, I guess it's SNCTM, Sanctum, are organizing. Membership at the club costs from $12,000 to $75,000.
Wow.
Everyone wear masks. Men wear tuxedos. Women wear lingerie or evening wear and nothing else.
Nobody wears a banana.
Well, you could, but
Or
take
glove,
one to your
a glove.
chest or to your hand.
I'd wear a glove and a banana.
There you go. Maybe all at the same time.
Yes.
Yes. So the owner of this apparently started this club, they are claiming, just a few years ago. And the highest level members take part in a blood oath, they say.
Oh, that's not too ritualistic.
No. And one of the organizers says it's not uncommon that guests will be found writhing in beds of 4, 5, 6 beautiful people, indulging in all their fantasies, and they do these party things on a regular basis.
Do they have a link for like an application?
New York, Moscow, Kiev, and Los Angeles. Well, men have to pay, but women are free.
Well, that's not fair.
Women are free.
I have the solution. I just say, I decided that I'm a woman.
There you go.
And,
okay.
And it's free for
And
me.
all you have to do...
And they have to let me in.
And you have to, as a woman, then you have to send a full-body photograph for your application. You could do that with your banana.
Absolutely. And my glove strategically placed.
That would be good. And it says that because privacy is so important that mobile phones are banned and everybody's required to wear a mask.
Okay, the rest of them is hanging out there, but their face is covered up. That'll be keeping that's
so that's what I said. You know, this is what they're putting. This is what they're putting on the news.
That's brilliant.
And Showtime apparently did like an 8-part series on this particular club. So I'm telling you what Prince Andrew did. Unfortunately, they're linking him to pedophilia. But I did tell you that New World Religion will be about pedophilia as well.
The biggest joke is that Prince Charles is admonishing him when Prince Charles did worse things than him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're all like this. It's just for whatever reason they're throwing him under the bus. So when I read this article, I thought this is hilarious. And speaking of things like that, did you know that not enough babies are being born to replace the U.S. population?
Well,
because they're too busy doing this kind of stuff instead of making babies.
They want me to help.
So it says the birth rate in the U.S. fell in 2018 and reached the lowest level in over 30 years.
Because who wants to be born here anymore?
It says right now there need to be 2,100 births per 1,000 women in the U.S. to reproduce and the population to remain stable.
Well, I could help them out if they want.
That reportedly means each woman would need to have 2 babies in order to replace mothers and fathers as well as account for any extra deaths. And as you'll remember, I used to castrate cows on my dairy farm.
Yes, I remember.
And
that's why there's no more rubber bands in this house.
The birth rates for women in their 20s and 30s went down, and the birth rates increased a bit for women between the ages of 35 and 44. Oh, no more comments from you, huh?
No.
Okay, now and my very last story, which is one of my favorites. You might want to think about this, about a website called Recompose. Do you know what that is about?
Something that recomposes?
Kinda. It's the first ever human composting site that will open in Seattle in 2021.
Oh, of course, in your homeland.
Yeah, and well, because you know what happens? When the mountain blows and all the lahars come, they're going to automatically be in there.
And they'll just put some water on the decomposed pea and they'll grow back.
Yeah, because in April of last year, Washington State became the first U.S. state to legalize the composting of human bodies. So, Recompose is the name of the first facility. It's 18,500 square feet. It's light-filled space. Reminds me of those things like you see, well, here we are, Never Never Land.
Here's Grandma's decomposed body.
Decorated with an abundance of greenery that could be moved around. I guess that's important because you've got to move bodies. The space is comprised of 75 hexagonal-shaped vessels where bodies can be stored for decomposition.
They just throw them in there.
All the vessels, well, they stack them. All the vessels are stacked. It looks like a beehive around a gathering space meant for ceremonies. Does this sound ritualistic or what?
A little bit.
So human composting is believed to be significantly more environmentally friendly than traditional methods of burial or cremation.
I think we should start with Greta.
It says that what they do is they put the body in one of the moisture and temperature controlled vessels filled with wood chips, alfalfa, and straw. And in just 30 days of microbial activity, Grandma becomes dirt for your garden.
Or maybe she grows back as an evil alien creature.
So it says that the human composting process, each body generates around a cubic yard of soil. And you can either take the soil, see, and use it at home, or they'll put it out in the forest land in southern Washington State.
I bet there's going to be someone who eats it because it's
I think it's so funny. All this stuff is
protein.
So funny. So the good news is the third book in this series has been edited and it's going to lay out very shortly, within a week.
I'm going to lay out
So be
pre-chapter
sure
2.
you need to read these 2 books first so you're ready for the 3rd one. So if you haven't gotten these yet, these have been both very popular with good reviews. King Bee, Queen Bee, followed by The Template of God. Might get these for yourself.
You want to tell them the name of the 3rd one?
Go for it.
The name of the 3rd one is Revelations of Time and Space, History, and God.
Wow. That's
All
deep,
of that.
very deep.
All of that's in there.
So, like I told you, you need these in order to understand the 3rd one.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you know what's on the cover?
What?
A banana.
Yeah, with duct tape. Yeah, and a glove.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you need stocking stuffers right around the corners of the holidays, Hyperspace Plus, if you have Hyperspace Helper. Hyperspace Plus is the advanced one. So you want to be sure and get this. If you don't have Hyperspace Helper, this Hyperspace Helper plus these make great stocking stuffers. Stuart says, people love this. We're introducing people to some of our work. Very little tiny book, packed with lots of information.
Mm-hmm. Just like me.
Yeah. And then we have, again, I say these are really wonderful children's books.
Mm-hmm.
The little fluffs, we have auras.
So that's a picture of me naked.
Archetype, and there's your banana, it's yellow.
Yes.
Chakras, protection, these are all color inside. Now, also, if English is not your first language,
See?
this is also very good for you as well. So we sell them for people who English is their 2nd language, as well as children's series. But these are fabulous, fabulous gifts to yourself as well as other people. Healing archetypes and symbols, also extremely popular because, again, anything with colored pictures they like.
They like pictures.
They like pictures. So lots of pictures in here for you to think about. And this book is really fabulous. White Owl Legends, again, this has an archetypal story of creation on the back cover. I'm not going to tell you about it. You can read it online. It talks about Mount Rainier and UFOs. So
really,
this is very, very interesting,
hurry up and
fascinating
read it
book.
blows.
Yes, and we're already into my new webinar series
Yep.
in December, but January we'll start another one, and it's very good. So those who are working through it always come through with a lot of information, a lot of help, and we even let you interpret a few dreams on there for them. So this is a great series. Please be sure and sign up if you're interested in growing. Get a membership, less than $1 a day. I have so many people writing in all the time saying, well, we just want to know this, and we ask nicely, blah, blah. But I tell you, you know what? We have to earn a living too, and so if you care enough about the answer, then care enough please to support us. We need your support, and we appreciate it. Less than $1 a day. Expansions.com.
Yeah, so you
January class right around the corner, and we have a couple of seats left. If you're interested, please contact.
In fact, we're sitting on those seats.
We're there. This is actually our seminar room, our space where we're at.
And then in March, I'll be doing my seminar in Quito again. And then I have been asked to return to Turkey, Portugal, and Malta, which will be in April.
Are you going to do a Quito webinar before your Quito trip?
I don't know if there'll be time, but we'll see.
Watch the website and the Facebook pages.
Oh, and then next week I will be doing an interview with Dr. Charles McWilliams of SMOC, and we will be discussing tax implications and how in Puerto Rico there is no tax for people.
So we do have the SMOC page on our website, SMOCKH. How do you spell it? SMOKH. All right, so look that up on our website. Lots of very interesting information there.
Yes, and so then you have your...
The new books. We have a trip to Italy that's coming up. Again, the van is already half full, and we really haven't announced the dates. It will be probably toward the end of June 2020, and after the first of the year, the dates and things will be getting set in. And watch the website, watch the Facebook pages. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And again, if you are interested and you want to know more about us, not only read our books, get the membership. And there we have a Q&A blog, and you can ask all the questions you want that are of interest to the general readership. Okay? So that said, we want to thank you for joining us. Hope your December is going well, and we'll see you next week.
Bye for now.
Bye.